In this video, you'll discover the shocking Cold War secret behind the creation of the internet, the unbelievable mistake that accidentally became the first message ever sent online, and how a forgotten experiment involving just a handful of computers quietly grew into the technology that now powers almost every moment of your daily life. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the internet exists in the first place, and you'll never look at your phone, your computer, or the internet the same way again. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the internet no longer exists. No Google, no YouTube, no Instagram, no online banking, no text messages. Within just a few hours, much of modern life would come to a standstill. But what's even more unbelievable is this: the internet was never created for ordinary people. It wasn't built so we could watch videos, scroll through social media, or play online games. It was born from one of the greatest fears in human history, the threat of a nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union. To understand why the internet was created, we have to go back to one of the most dangerous periods in modern history, the Cold War. After World War II, global superpowers emerged, the United States and the Soviet Union. Although they never fought each other directly on a large battlefield, they competed in almost every other way imaginable. They raced to build more powerful nuclear weapons, developed advanced military technology, and competed to dominate space, science, and global influence. By the late 1950s, the fear of nuclear war had become part of everyday life. Children in American schools practiced duck and cover drills, families built fallout shelters in their backyards, and military leaders prepared for the possibility that a nuclear attack could happen with little warning. One question worried defense officials more than almost anything else: what would happen if a nuclear strike destroyed the nation's communication systems? At the time, most communication networks relied on centralized systems. If a major command center or key telephone exchange was destroyed, large parts of the network could fail, making it incredibly difficult for military leaders to coordinate a response. Researchers began thinking about a different approach. Instead of depending on one central hub, what if information could travel through many different routes? If one path was destroyed, the data could simply find another way to reach its destination. This revolutionary idea became the foundation of what we now call packet switching, a method of breaking information into small pieces that could travel independently across a network before being reassembled at their destination. It was a simple idea with enormous potential. A network that could survive damage wasn't just valuable for the military, it could eventually change the entire world. At that moment, however, no one was thinking about social media, online shopping, or streaming videos. They were trying to solve one problem, and one problem only: how to keep communication alive in the middle of the unthinkable. By the late 1960s, the idea of a more resilient communication network had moved beyond theory. Researchers funded by the US Department of Defense's Advanced Research Projects Agency, better known as ARPA, were ready to put their vision to the test. Their goal wasn't to create the internet as we know it today. There were no websites, no search engines, and certainly no social media. The mission was far more practical: connect powerful computers at different research institutions so scientists could share expensive computing resources and exchange information more efficiently. On the 29th of October, 1969, history was made. The first ARPANET connection was attempted between a computer at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, and another at the Stanford Research Institute, located hundreds of miles away in Northern California. The plan seemed simple. A programmer at UCLA would log into the remote computer by typing one word: login. He pressed the first key, the letter L. The team on the other end confirmed they had received it. Then came the second letter, O, again. The confirmation came back successfully. Everything appeared to be working perfectly. Then the third letter was typed, and the system crashed. Instead of sending the full word login, the very first message ever transmitted over ARPANET consisted of just two letters, low. It's one of the most famous moments in the history of computing, almost as if the network was trying to say hello before suddenly falling silent. The problem was fixed in about an hour, and the complete login was successfully transmitted. It wasn't a dramatic breakthrough witnessed by millions of people. There were no television cameras, no headlines, and no celebrations. Just a handful of engineers sitting in a university lab, unaware that they had just taken the first step toward a technology that would eventually connect billions of people around the world. What began as a small experiment linking just two computers would soon grow into a network that transformed communication, business, education, entertainment, and nearly every aspect of modern life. In that quiet laboratory on an ordinary October evening, the digital age had officially begun. When the first ARPANET connection was established in 1969, no 1 inches that room was trying to invent the internet we know today. There were no dreams of YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, TikTok, video calls, or artificial intelligence. In fact, most people had never even seen a computer. The engineers behind ARPANET had a much simpler goal: to allow researchers at different locations to share information and access powerful computers without having to travel across the country. But revolutionary technologies often begin with surprisingly ordinary problems. As more universities and research centers joined the network, something unexpected happened. People discovered that the most valuable feature wasn't just sharing computers, it was communicating with each other. In 1971, computer engineer Ray Tomlinson introduced electronic mail, or email, to ARPANET. He also chose the @ symbol to separate a person's name from the computer they were using. A decision so simple that it became one of the most recognizable symbols in the digital world. Almost overnight, email became ARPANET's most popular application. Researchers who were supposed to be sharing computing resources suddenly found themselves sending messages back and forth much more often than anyone had anticipated. It was the first glimpse of what the internet would eventually become, a network built as much for people as it was for machines. Throughout the 1970 seconds and 1980 seconds, the network continued to expand. More universities, government agencies, and research institutions connected to it. At the same time, engineers developed new communication standards, including TCP/IP, the protocol that still serves as the foundation of the modern internet. On the 1st of January 1983, ARPANET officially adopted TCP/IP, a milestone many historians consider the true birth of today's internet. Then came the breakthrough that changed everything. In 1989, British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee proposed a system that would allow documents to be linked together using hyperlinks. That idea became the World Wide Web. Within just a few years, websites began appearing across the globe. Web browsers made the internet accessible to ordinary people, and a technology once reserved for scientists and researchers entered homes, schools, and businesses. The engineers who typed those first two letters, L and O, could never have imagined that one day billions of people would use the same global network every single day. What started as a small research project had quietly become one of the most transformative inventions in human history. Fast forward to today, and it's almost impossible to imagine life without the internet. For millions of Americans, the day begins with it. Before their feet even touch the floor, they check the weather, read text messages, scroll through the news, or turn off an alarm connected to the internet. On the drive to work, GPS calculates the fastest route in real time. Coffee is ordered through an app before arriving. Credit card payments are verified in seconds through online networks. Businesses hold meetings with colleagues on the other side of the world through video calls. Students attend classes online. Doctors consult with patients remotely. Families separated by thousands of miles can see each other with a single tap on a screen. Then there is entertainment. Every day, billions of videos are streamed, songs are played instantly, and online stores process millions of purchases. Whether it's watching YouTube, shopping on Amazon, sending an email, or asking an AI assistant a question, almost every digital service relies on the same global network that began as a small research project more than half a century ago. The remarkable part is that none of this was part of the original plan. The researchers working on ARPANET weren't trying to build social media. They weren't thinking about streaming movies online banking, smartphones, or artificial intelligence. Their goal was to solve a technical challenge: how to connect computers so they could communicate and share information more efficiently. Yet, that solution became the foundation for one of the greatest technological revolutions in human history. Today, if the internet suddenly disappeared, the impact would reach far beyond entertainment. Financial markets, transportation systems, hospitals, emergency services, businesses, schools, and global supply chains all depend on it in one way or another. Modern society has become deeply connected by a technology that started with just a handful of computers. It's one of history's greatest ironies. A research network funded by the US government during the Cold War, created to solve communication challenges for researchers and defense. Related projects eventually evolved into a technology that billions of ordinary people now depend on every single day. What began with just two letters, L and O, has grown into the digital backbone of the modern world. Right now, as you're watching this video, you're connected to a story that began more than half a century ago. Every click, every search, every message you send, every video you watch travels across a global network whose origins can be traced back to a small research project launched during one of the most tense periods in modern history. The Cold War created an urgent need for new ways to communicate. Researchers wanted networks that were more flexible, more reliable, and better able to keep information flowing even if parts of the system failed. At the time, no one could have predicted where those ideas would eventually lead. The engineers working on ARPANET weren't trying to change the daily lives of billions of people. They weren't imagining smartphones, streaming platforms, online shopping, or artificial intelligence. They were solving a technical problem, one connection at a time. But history has a fascinating way of surprising us. Some of the world's greatest inventions begin with a simple question rather than a grand vision. The people behind ARPANET couldn't have imagined that one day children would attend classes online, families would speak face-to-face from opposite sides of the planet, doctors would treat patients remotely, or creators would share their ideas with millions of people through a single video. And perhaps that's the most remarkable part of this story. The first message ever sent across ARPANET wasn't a sentence. It wasn't even a word. It was just two letters, L and O. A failed login attempt that seemed insignificant at the time. Yet, from those two letters grew a network that now connects billions of people across nearly every country on Earth. Sometimes the inventions that reshape civilization don't begin with a spectacular breakthrough. They begin quietly, in a university laboratory, with a handful of researchers, an ambitious idea, and two simple letters that changed the world forever. And the next time you unlock your phone, open your favorite app, or watch a video online, remember this: you're using a technology whose story began with one small experiment and ended up transforming the future of humanity.